Amen. So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rain? Smile from a veil. Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade heroes for ghosts? Ashes for trees, hot air for cold breeze, cold comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war, leading role in the cage?
Now, after that fine opening number, we get to have an opening number. So stand if you're capable, able, willing to. Gathering hymn is 1017 out of the blue hymnal, Building a New Way.
So because the theme this week, today is rock lyrics, I try to pick some hymns that I could kind of rock on. So we're going to try this. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way, working. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom, peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry.
Have a seat. So ours is a welcoming community where we find connection and meaning, a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. We also welcome guests from Facebook Live and our Zoom audience. All are welcome here. We welcome everyone regardless of race, creed, color, social level, economic status, gender identity, or whom you love. Do we have any visitors this morning? Any visitors online?
No.
Okay, we are visitor free today. Are there any church announcements? One coming.
Good morning. Today is the last Sunday of our annual pledge drive, but that doesn't mean we will not take your pledge anytime you want to give it to us. According to David, most recently we're at about $33,000 pledged. Now, you know our budget tends to run anywhere from about $60,000 to $65,000. So let's keep that in mind as the year goes on. David will tell us more at the annual meeting once he finalizes the budget and we vote on that. But I want to thank everyone for pledging. If you haven't, it's still not too late to get your pledges in. We are a faithful, hopeful, and loving community. So thank you for that. Also, the Pride Festival is coming up on June 3rd. The parade starts at noon. They ask that you arrive by 10:30 for the lineup. And then we're going to have a booth from 11 to 7. It's on Main Street this year between Riverside and 2nd Street. And we will have our tent set up. And last year we allowed people to make bracelets and necklaces, and we hand out information about the church. And we always have a lot of positive feedback that we are there, and people always thank us for being there. So if you'd like to sign up, I do have a sign-up sheet. We need lots of people to march in the parade. We have a great banner this year to carry. So if you'd like to sign up, I urge you to do so. Thank you. June 3rd, Saturday, June 3rd. The booth will be open from 11 to 7, but the parade starts at noon, and then officially, where all the vendors and things are, will open after the parade's over with.
Is it the picnic on the 4th?
Maybe, yeah. So it's the day before the picnic. Mhm. But Pride Festival is June 3rd. I hope you can make it.
Hi. A week from tomorrow, May 1st, is the Cage Action. And I hope you all can make it. It's at St. Anthony's Church. It's called, I think it's called All Saints Parish now, but it's on First Avenue. And it's in our newsletter. The Unitarian Church put out that message. I sent one and somehow it's not in there, but I can give you a few of the updates about the issues that they're working on right now. Is that okay?
I didn't.
Yes, okay. I'll just run through it real quickly. But anyway, so be there. The doors open at 6. It starts at 6:30, and it's at a week from tomorrow, May 1st, at St. Anthony's Church. And so these were the issues. The Evansville Affordable Housing, the committee has met with Zach Hieronymus and Josh Claiborne to hear about Zach's plan to introduce the ordinance in April that will change the trust fund into additionally a 501c3, which I think it just gives a little more leeway for people who can get money from the trust fund. And I think if that goes through, Habitat for Humanity will get $1 million of it. So there's $5 million are in the trust fund now this year and another $5 million next year. And if this goes through, then every year after that, the city will be putting in $1 million a year, increasing in 2026 to $1.5 million a year for affordable housing. So that's something Cage has worked on for over a decade. Safe neighborhoods and gun violence. All this is I'm going to put it back I'm going to try to get it back into the newsletter. I'm not sure why it didn't go through, so maybe I didn't use the right email address. But they're working on that. They've talked to Officer Brewer, who is working to set up and implement safe neighborhood and violence prevention department. Also, the Evansville Diversion Center, it's ready to go, but they're working on staffing right now. And the dual diagnosis, still working on. There'll be more news and ask about that, the action. And then housing conditions, in general, affordability of energy, and also the fact that renters don't really get a lot of the benefits that homeowners can get because of just the way the laws have been set up. And so they're trying to figure out ways to deal with that, to make landlords more responsible for actually fixing things. And it's complicated, especially in Indiana, because in Indiana, the landlords are the lords. So it's hard to move around that. So that's what they're working on. Thank you. Hope to see you all there. That'd be great. Oh, and Tom Moore has tickets at one point best. So I'll go out there and
Hi, and keeping with what Marcia was talking about, May 1st is also a board meeting. She had contacted me Friday and asked me to contact the board via email. ADD senior moment, I failed to do so. But anyway, she would like for a strong presence like we had last year and asked me to see if we could reschedule the board meeting. So I just want to know the input. I know she had spoken to some people individually, and I just want you to toss that around and see what you think about that. You can either get a hold of me via email or talk to me after the service. So,
Thanks, Dave.
Good morning, everybody. 2 weeks from now, or actually 2 weeks from yesterday, Saturday evening, May the 6th, we're having our Great Lasagna Bake-Off, hosted by Chris and myself, and you'll be voting on who has the better lasagna. You'll be voting on Chris's mediocre lasagna and my rather fabulous masterpiece. So keep that in mind. It'll be blind voting. And I have a sign-up sheet. We need to find out, as soon as we can, would be helpful, how many people, so we know how much lasagna we're going to have to make. And depending on the number of people, we may be calling and asking for desserts or something like that. We'll play that by ear after I see about the signups and what we're up against. But it should be fun, and I will pass this around, and then it will be kept out on the desk out front also, and we'll take signups next week too. So if you want to come, put your name on here and we'll get this started.
Thank you. Oops.
Reminder that we're beginning to share our space with Unity Church, and you're benefiting from that today by sitting in the chairs they brought us from their place. They have done a great job of keeping these chairs up. They're 15 or so years old. I would like to continue that. If you happen to have a spill or something, please let us know right away so we can get them cleaned up. And also, I was just gonna say, when my sister's church had a chili cook-off, they voted with money. Maybe we could raise a little more that way. I don't know.
Okay, and with that, were there any other church announcements? No, okay. Well, each week we spend a few minutes stepping across the aisle and doing the greet and welcome to each other. So please join in, and I will ring the bell when it's time to get back to your seats. Go for it. Across the Distance by Laura Thompson is the part of this chalice lighting. Across the distance, the light from within me shines, sending love to all across the distance. Your light is fuel that warms me and helps to keep my own light burning. Together, we keep the flame of community burning bright. I'm going to go ahead and light the chalice myself. We know there's a great abundance in our world, a great abundance of suffering, of people homeless, hungry, frightened, lonely, in danger, sick, exhausted, and wondering when this abundant suffering shall cease. We know there is great abundance in our world, a great abundance of love, of people caring, building homes for those who need them, feeding folks who hunger, comforting folks who are frightened, inviting folks who are lonely into company, creating peace and safety zones, healing and being with the sick, and welcoming the weary to a place to rest. We are the people of abundance, people who have known suffering and will know suffering. We are the people of abundance, people who have known love and offer our love as a blessing to our world. As we receive disappointment, anguish, and anger, we transform those curses into the blessings of hope, joy, and love. As we offer those blessings to this world, so our blessings increase. The smile of gratitude eases our hearts. The dance of joy sweeps us into the circle, and the light of this chalice changes our world. We are the change we wish to see through what we give. What change will you bless this world with today? May I have 2 volunteers, please, for the offering? Now, Mark has a story for all ages.
So if you're a kid or a kid at heart, feel free to come up and listen to the story. These pictures are cool. You probably heard this book before without knowing it. It is called With a Little Help from My Friends. It's written by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Illustrated by Henry Cole. In case you don't believe me, there it is. They're on the school bus. What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song. and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. High as a kite. See the kite? Trying to make this kid friendly here. Gonna try a little help from my friends. Campfire singing, nothing like it. Okay, looks like the parents are having a discussion and she's listening. Looks kind of concerned. Uh-oh, house for sale. What do I do? When my love is away, they're moved away. Does it worry you to be alone? How do I feel by the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? No, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. Gonna try with a little help from my friends. They're writing each other letters. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. This tune is coming to my head for some reason. Could it be anybody? Sorry. I want somebody to love. Would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time. What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. She's drawn cool pictures. They're both drawn two cool pictures. One has a cat, one has a dog. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm going to try a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need someone to love. Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Well, I get by with a little help from my friends. I could try a little help from my friends. Well, I get high with a little help from my friends. High as an airplane. Gonna go visit. Thank you. Opening words. So remember the days when we got in our car in the morning just for a little road trip, turn on the radio, feel the breeze in our hair. I don't know if much people listen to the radio in a car anymore. I do. But just think about that. This song is by a band called Rush, and it's called The Spirit of Radio. And this is the perspective of you listening on the radio, but also the perspective of being a musician in the whole music industry kind of thing. So it can be challenging at times. So here we go. And the guy who writes the lyrics for Rush, Neil Peart, I believe it's pronounced, the drummer writes the lyrics. Begin the day with a friendly voice, a companion unobtrusive, plays that song that's so elusive, and the magic music makes your morning mood. Off on your way, hit the open road. There is magic at your fingers, for the spirit ever lingers, undemanding contact in your happy solitude. Invisible airwaves crackle with life, bright antenna bristle with the energy, emotional feedback on a timeless wavelength, bearing a gift beyond price, almost free. All this machinery making modern music can still be open-hearted, not so coldly charted. It's really just a question of your honesty. Yeah, your honesty. One likes to believe in the freedom of music, but glittering prizes and endless compromises shatter the illusion of integrity. Ooh. Invisible airwaves crackle with life, bright antenna bristle with the energy, emotional feedback on timeless wavelength, bearing a gift beyond price, almost free. For the words of the prophets, Profits, by the way, the words of the prophets were written on the studio wall, concert hall, the echoes with the sound of salesmen. Of salesmen? Of salesmen.
Thank you, Mark. So we take a few moments each week to reflect on our joys and sorrows and acknowledge the mutual support of our community. If you would like, you may come forward, take a pebble from the clear bowl and place it into the bowl of water to acknowledge may be too dear to share at this time. So each week we take a few minutes to sit quietly. Bring your attention inward and then let your attention discover the end of its own energy level. You're big. You're much bigger than your physical bodies, which I think you know by now. As I just said quietly, whatever form you'd like to take. And then I'll call you out and we'll sing Spirit of Life, number 123.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Mark has our message this morning about rock lyrics. Sounds like a fun topic.
Morning. So the other day I was at a worship committee meeting, and I like to think of things to talk about that's kind of thought-provoking, makes you, want to discuss things and think about things. And I got nothing. I couldn't think of anything. And so I'm like, I like speaking at this church. I have a lot of fun with it, and I hope you guys don't mind me being up here talking. I really couldn't think of anything. And then Tom says, you should do rock lyrics. I'm like, really? And so I'm like, okay, it sounds interesting. You guys know my background and all that. And I was like, why not? But what's ironic about that is I'm all about the music. I'm really not about the lyrics. I told a guy at work one time, I said, well, I don't listen to lyrics. And he goes, really? He was like, couldn't believe it. He's like, don't talk to me anymore, kind of thing. Couldn't believe that. I do though, really, but I like to learn songs. I'm not very good at remembering lyrics. Jamie is better at that. She remembers lyrics like crazy, and I can remember chords. So it's like the music and lyrics. You ever see that movie, Music and Lyrics? That's an older movie. Hugh Grant and somebody else. Yeah, it was a pretty cute movie. He was the one that came up with the music, and she was the one that came up with the lyrics. And it was kind of like that. But the more lyrics I read, I have to it's hard for me to blank out the music when I'm listening to the lyrics, but I try my best. And sometimes, like when I read that song from Rush, Spirit of Radio, it was really quite mind-provoking. The guy's vocabulary is like really out there, and the musicianship. I mean, that's what makes Rush really is their music. But the guy who writes the lyrics, I told one guy one time at work, I said, you'll never hear a romantic song from Rush. There are none. It's all like this, all thought-provoking stuff. And anyway, so I'm trying to be more attentive to lyrics to songs. So I'm sure all of you come from that generation of classic, what I call classic rock, 60s, 70s, maybe even 50s, 60s, 70s music, where lyrics were just pretty phenomenal, I thought. So I'm going to play a little game. You know how you guys, I do weird stuff. Do you guys remember this old TV show called Name That Tune? Remember that? Who remembers that? I think most, if not all. So I'm going to talk about a few songs today, and I hope we have time for discussion. I'm trying not to go too long. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the introduction to each song I'm going to discuss for just a few seconds. And you're going to shout out the name of the song if you recognize it, okay? So Name That Tune. Hopefully you can hear it. I'm just going to put my phone up to the microphone here.
Is there anybody in there?
Off that album.
Just not if you can hear me. Is there anyone
Name of the song.
home?
Comfortably Numb. Who said it? Solomon. Okay, you win a thumbs up. All right. Comfortably Numb. So I'm going to read you some of the lyrics. Hello, is anybody in there? Just nod if you can hear me. Is there anybody home? Come on now, I hear you're feeling down. Well, I can ease your pain and get you on your feet again. Relax. I'll need some information first, just the basic facts. Can you show me where it hurts? There is no pain. You are receding, a distant ship, smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I had a fever. My hands felt like 2 balloons. Now I've got the feeling once again. I can't explain. You would not understand. This is not how I am. I have become comfortably numb. I have become comfortably numb. Okay, just a little pinprick. There will be no more, but you may feel a little sick. Can you stand up? I do believe it's working. Good. That'll keep you going through the show. Come on, it's time to go. So you hear this is the voice of a doctor talking to its patient. Are you okay? You know, I'm going to give you a little medicine, make you feel better. And so he gets a shot and he feels comfortably numb. Okay. And what I found out, the main character is actually talking about the writer Roger Waters from Pink Floyd. He takes muscle relaxants to deal with his stomach cramps before a performance. So that's actually what the song's about. So I thought that was interesting. All right, like I said, I'm going to try to make these go fast. I have a few. So here's another one. Solomon, you need to leave the room so other people have time. That is correct. When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin. By Led Zeppelin, quote unquote, and I'll get to that. Here's some of the lyrics. If it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. If it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. When the levee breaks, I'll have no place to stay. Mean old levee taught me to weep and moan, Lord. Mean old levee taught me to weep and moan. It's got what it takes to make a mountain man leave his home. Oh well, oh well, oh well. Don't it make you feel bad when you're trying to find your way home? You don't know which way to go. If you're going down south, they got no work to do. If you're going down to Chicago, crying won't help you, praying won't do you no good. No, crying won't help you, praying won't do you no good. When the levee breaks, mama, you gotta move on. So actually that wasn't written by Led Zeppelin. It was actually Kansas Joe and Memphis Minnie about the 1927 Mississippi flood. And I read this from 5 different sources: Britannica.com, HistoryNewsNetwork.org, Wikipedia.org, SmithsonianMag.com, MSHistoryNow.gov. Anyway, the Mississippi River flood of 1927 was one of the worst natural disasters in the history of the United States. The flood began in April 1927 after several months of heavy rain caused the Mississippi River to swell to unprecedented 20,000 square miles of land was submerged. Hundreds of thousands of people were displaced and some 250 people died. Levees broke in 145 different places in Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Missouri. The flood affected 27,000 square miles of land in 7 states, inhabited by some 930,000 people. The National Flood Control Act of 1928 was passed by the U.S. Congress as a result of the flood. That's actually what the song was about. I thought that was very interesting. Okay, Saul, I'd be shocked if you knew this one. You up for it? Here we go. It's not very rocky. You know it?
Lift me up.
Well, the song's called Lift Me Up. But yeah, I didn't know the song either until I watched the last Wakanda movie. It's called Wakanda Forever. It was near the end of the movie. When she started singing it, it's by Rihanna. Anybody watch Super Bowl last year? Rihanna played during the halftime with a little pregnant bump there. I got a pregnant bump too, but it's not a baby. So I highly recommend you watch Wakanda Forever. It's pretty amazing. But here's some lyrics. Lift me up, hold me down, keep me close, safe and sound. Burning in a hopeless dream, hold me when you go to sleep. Keep me in the warmth of your love. When you depart, keep me safe and sound. Drowning in an endless sea, take some time and stay with me. Keep me in the strength of your arms. Keep me safe and sound. Continues like that. So to put it plainly, Rihanna's new song, Lift Me Up, is a tribute to the late Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman. The song, which was created as a part of a soundtrack of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, is an emotionally written piece honoring the actor's life and impact. Got that from www.distractify.com. I don't know if you ever seen Chadwick Boseman in other movies. There was one, I can't remember the name of the movie, but he plays a trumpet player back in the 40s, 30s or 40s or something. Amazing actor. I mean, talk about when people can change their character. A lot of people, you get stuck in a certain character role, typecasting, right? But this guy could do anything. It was really, both were amazing movies. And then he played Black Panther, which is totally different from a trumpet player from a long time ago. Okay, this morning for the Prelude, some of you missed it, Saul and I played a song. Anybody know the song? Do you remember it? Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Wish You Were Here refers to Syd Barrett, an original member of Pink Floyd whose extremely excessive drug use caused him to leave the band and be replaced by David Gilmour. Barrett was considered the creative one behind early Floyd. Shine On You, Crazy Diamond is also a tribute to him, and The Wall is often referred to by the album The Wall to some as his biography. While many people hear this song, it makes them think of people they've lost in death, and they really miss them. For me, it was my sister Glenda. She was the one closest to me in age. I was the youngest of 10, but she was like only less than 2 years older than me, and she had bipolar problems. She ended up committing suicide in the early 2000s. So it was a long time ago, but I still, when I hear that song, it just usually does it for me. Anyway, that's what rock lyrics do. Yes, it's some of it's really good mentally, but it moves your heart. And I want you guys to think about songs that move your heart. And if we get enough time, maybe we'll come up to the mic and talk about it. All right. A couple books I had my wife get for research. Actually, 3 books. One is called The Girl in the Song. One is called The Boy in the Song. Just talking about stories and what they were written about, and also Anthems We Love. And really some really cool books. So I'm going to do one from The Boy in the Song, a couple actually. Name that tune. The band is Heart, very good. It's called Magic Man. Magic Man. These are really short. Get to it. Despite repeated denials, Heart are still plagued by rumors that their 1976 hit Magic Man was written for murderous cult leader Charles Manson. I didn't know that. Or that the profits from its sales were sent to Manson in prison, or that the messages of support for Manson were encoded on the covers of early Heart releases. None of these stories is true. The song actually harks back to a heady romance in the early days of the group's formation. Heart's lead vocalist, Ann Wilson, no relation, started out along with Roger Fisher, the group's original guitarist, and Steve Fossen, its first bass player. Late 1971. Traveled secretly back to the U.S. to see his brother's band perform and met Ann for the first time. They immediately fell in love. It was a powerful moment. Ann dropped everything and followed Mike Fisher back across the border. Magic Man described their first year together. It contrasts the plea from Ann's mother for her daughter to come on home, girl, but to Seattle with Mike's invitation to Ann to come on home, girl, to Vancouver as his lover. The following year, first Fossen and then Mike's brother, Roger, followed them into Canada. In 1973, they formed Heart. At first, the lineup featured both Fisher's brothers on guitars, but in 1974, Ann's sister, Nancy, also moved to Canada and joined the band. The presence of the two Wilson girls became the band's distinctive feature and its main selling point. Their multi-instrumental abilities also allowed Mike to withdraw from performance duties and adopt a backstage role as the band's sound and lighting engineer, and later as their manager. Magic Man remains, according to Ann Wilson, Heart's most requested song. It owes its success in part to Roger Fisher's mystical rock guitar lines, but mostly to Ann's lyrical expression of a classic rite of passage, from childhood to adulthood, from living with your parents to living with your lover. What teenager in love hasn't yelled at some point, try to understand. Ann, who later raised two adopted children and as a single mother, has had no significant other since she and her Magic Man split in 1979. Interesting, I didn't know that about the song. All right. It's another one from that book. You guys should know this one. Name that tune.
There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch and it's bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal
It's
clear.
Adele. What's the name of the
Go
song?
ahead and sell me out and I'll lay your ship bare. See how
Rolling in the Deep. Who said that? Everybody? Thumbs up. All right. Rolling in the Deep by Adele. Adele. British pop diva and Grammy Award winner Adele Adkins burst onto the scene in 2008 with her debut album, 19, named for her age when recording it. Adored by fans on both sides of the pond, it was her sophomore effort, 21, combined with her performance at the Brit Awards in early 2011 that really cemented her superstar status. 21 comprised 11 deeply personal tracks about a mystery man that stole and subsequently broke Adele's heart during the 3 years between the albums. The lead single from 21, Rolling in the Deep, whetted the public's appetite and is perhaps one of the most personal tracks on her album, with Adele starting by laying her feelings of anger and regret on the line. The song tells the tale of a love lost, with Adele lamenting, "We could have had it all." While the lyrics display a commanding tone, Adele later revealed that it was the biggest deal in my entire life to date, and that writing the album was an emotional, if not cathartic, experience. It broke my heart when I wrote 21, so the fact that people are taking it to their hearts is like the best way to recover, because I'm still not fully recovered. It's going to take me 10 years to recover, I think, from the way I feel about it, she later said. Adele fell for her beau while touring and promoting 19. He was older, he was successful in his own right, she told MTV, whereas my boyfriends before were my age and not really doing much. She added that the relationship opened her eyes to much more than she had previously been interested in. I was interested in going clubbing and getting drunk. He got me interested in film and literature and food and wine and traveling and politics and history, and those were things I was never, ever interested in. The title of Rolling in the Deep was adapted from roll deep, a popular London phrase meaning having someone to watch your back. As Adele told Rolling Stone, that's how I felt. So that's what that really means. I thought that's what I was always going to have, and it ended up not being the case. So roll deep means watching your back. Penned by Adele with the aid of British songwriter Paul Epworth, Rolling in the Deep hit #1 in the US, topping the charts in 8 countries in total. Through it narrowly missed out in the UK. Despite the success, the memories of a love lost remained with Adele. However, in September 2011, she revealed to an audience at a London show, "We're becoming friends again. It's all right. I know what I'm doing. Enough time's gone by. The album helped me get over splitting up with my boyfriend. It helped me forgive, and I hope that he has forgiven himself." Many fans would likely want to know the identity of Adele's mystery lover, if only to thank him for inspiring one of the most successful British songs of the decade. Interesting. Boy in the Song, Frank Hopkinson, Michael Healy. Girl in the Song, same authors. Okay, ready for another one? Yay! Okay. Bye. James Taylor. That's an easy one. Fire and Rain. So I heard stories about this, but actually they were wrong. If I can find it. Fire and Rain by James Taylor. After a false start on the Beatles' Apple label, American singer-songwriter Taylor broke through with the 1970 album Sweet Baby James, on which Fire and Rain was the standout track. First verse is a eulogy for his friend Suzanne Schnurr, a girl from Long Island whom Taylor had encouraged in New York when she was a teenager and who later committed suicide. Taylor explained that she died suddenly and that friends at home, concerned it might distract Taylor from his big break with Apple, had kept the tragedy news from him. He only found out sometime later. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. Taylor's former heroin addiction resurfaced and he returned to the US for treatment. The second verse was written in a hospital room in Manhattan and his body aching, time at hand. James completed the song in the Austin Riggs Hospital in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. The electroshock therapy he underwent is apparently the fire of the song's title. The reference to flying machines, sweet dreams and flying machines and pieces on the ground, is to his first group, The Flying Machine, in which he first met longtime guitarist Danny Korchmar. It was an acknowledgement of Taylor's despair of the failure of his early band, with which he began playing in public around Greenwich Village before moving to London in an unsuccessful attempt to shake his drug habit. Fire and Rain came to define Taylor's signature sound, and he actually usually included it in all his live shows. See, I was told that some girl died in a plane crash, or his girlfriend or something, and the story's not true, but that was what was true. All right, sorry, I'm pushing. I skipped some of that, but you can get the book yourself. Okay, here we go. You guys should know this one. What'd you say? Oh, what's the name of the song? It's not I'll Be Watching. Every Breath You Take is actually the name of it, yeah. To me, it's the most biggest stalker song of all times, but sounds like a stalker anyway. All right. Where am I? Getting close. Everybody know the police, the main guys, what's his name? Sting. What's his actual name? Gordon Sumner, I think. That sound right? Yep. Gordon Sumner and Frances Tomlety married in 1976 after knowing each other for 2 years. They met on the set of a rock musical called Rock Nativity. She was the Virgin Mary he played in the band. Born in Belfast in 1948, the daughter of actor Joseph Tomlety, Frances was an established actress. A long-distance relationship resulted in bassist vocalist Sumner, known as Sting to his friends, due to the design of a favorite striped sweater. That's why his name's Sting, because he looked like a wasp or something. I didn't know that. Decided to move down to London from their native Newcastle. Having put his teaching career on hold, her earnings kept their household afloat as Sting tried to make his band Last Exit a success. I got to give it to those women that provide the food while the guy's trying to make it in the arts or whatever. That's the bomb. All right, sorry, we're running out of time. Last one. White Rabbit by, Here's the Airplane, dude. Jefferson Airplane. Who's the girl that sang or wrote the song? Wow, you guys are on top of it.
Saw it live.
Really? Saw him live? I'm jealous.
California.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to read this one. It's kind of short.
Oh, yeah.
As with all stories from Slick, the tale behind the writing of White Rabbit is entertaining, candid, and quite funny, as it says a lot about both her mindset and the mindset of the Summer of Love musicians in that period, whereas today's musicians might test a song on different speakers or in different studios or live first. Slick tested White Rabbit in different mindsets, let's say. The song took about half an hour to write. I don't know why. Other songs take a long time or several days. What I used to do, but not recently because it's not PC, but I used to do what I would write a song in one frame of mind. It could be sober, it could be marijuana, it could be lysergic acid, it could be alcohol, it could be cocaine, whatever I wrote it in. Then I'd play it again in another frame of mind, and then play it again in another frame of mind, so that it worked on all levels. Like if you're loaded on LSD, it worked. If you're loaded on alcohol, it worked. That happened with White Rabbit. After I got through writing it, I did the process, and it works, regardless of what mood you're in. Now that it had proof of purchase, regardless of the drug or alcohol you were on at the time, the song quickly became a favorite on the radio, though others around her weren't convinced the song would become a hit. They played it a lot on the radio, a lot, and I was all excited about that. And they said, well, don't get too excited. The reason they play it a lot on the radio is because it's only a minute long and then they can play more commercials. And she said, I went, oh, well, I didn't want to hear that, but I started noticing they played it a lot, and then the response from the audience was getting bigger and bigger. So I heard it on the radio and got the response from the audience. I appreciate that because it is a weird song. It's amazing, I've heard 2 or 3 different artists. I just saw a meme, but the song isn't coming to me right now. He wrote it in like 15 minutes, and he kind of retired on it the rest of his life. And it's like, that's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to quit there. It's already 11:30. Do we have time for anybody to come up and say anything?
We still have a couple of things left to do, but thank you, Mark. Thank you. So that was a message. So the closing hymn is number 1031.
Stand if you're willing now. It's another one I'm going to do a little differently. Go figure. May filled with loving kindness, may I be well, may I be filled with loving kindness, may I be well, may I have peace full and at ease, may I be whole. Say it again. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May I be peaceful. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole.
Thank you. So, out of your order of service, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment in our hearts until we are together again. Okay.
Closing words. Sing with me. So bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, "This'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die." Together. So bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Good old boys are drinking whiskey and rye, singing, "This will be the day that I die." Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you. May you go in peace, and may your existence bless the world. Oops. I'll get it.
A lot of joys today.
Yeah, oh, there were a bunch, yeah. And we started late.
Did we?
We started early.